say?
When the sunrise comes falling, when the midnight comes calling.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your host, James Meeks, and we're back for another episode of your favorite Black Fatherhood podcast.
Yes, sir. And what's good, everybody? It's your co-host, Jesse Alex, also the co-founder of Dear Fathers, the premier media platform for Black Fatherhood. Thanks for tapping in.
Before we get into this dope conversation today, I need y'all to go and subscribe and follow us anywhere you get your podcast today. Jesse, let's dive right in, bro. So welcome back, everybody. We here tapping in with another episode of the Dear Fathers podcast. I'm your host, James Meeks. I got my guy, Jesse Alex, with me today. How you feeling, my boy?
Man, I'm good, dog. I'm feeling good in a good space today, right now. I'm excited about the guy we got on today for the podcast, man. Chop it up with him about tons of things, man. So let's just get into it.
Yeah, so we'd like to welcome well-known actor, comedian, kingdom builder, Brandon T. Jackson to the Dear Fathers podcast. How you feeling today, fam?
Good. I'm actually on daddy duty right now. If y'all listen real closely, you can hear my children right now. When my older watching them, she's 9, but I'm running, so I'm gonna have to run up and down just in case if it gets too crazy to make sure everybody good. But y'all catch me on daddy duty right now. My wife is at the store. Doing what she do, making us a great house as she does, and this is the kingdom right here. This is my kingdom, my pride, my children upstairs, and and a lot of people don't understand. The dude from Robounds got 4 kids now. I'm grown. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's dope, man. We love to see it, and I think the great thing for us is really, we're a platform that's all about uplifting Black fathers. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole narrative that's painted out there about us. And I'm a father myself. I don't have 4, I got 3. I'm mentioning up on you, but you know what I mean? Like we're here, we're active, we're doing what you're doing right now. We're at home taking care of the kids, making sure they're good while our wives out doing their thing. So we really wanted to spend some time today getting to know you, understand more about Brandon the man, where you came from, your upbringing, and then transition into the fatherhood piece of it. So kind of kicking it off, like, let's get into your upbringing. We did a little Google, we did our Googles on you and did a little research, and everything you see on the internet isn't always true. So wanted to kind of hear from you, like, what was your upbringing like? Where you from? I said we did a little research on Google. We saw that you were raised by pastors. We didn't know if that was true or not. That's what the internet says, though. So we want to talk about your family upbringing and kind of like who Brandon is as a man and your background.
I grew up, yes, my parents, my father was a spiritual leader. It still is to this day. He owns one of the, if not one of the only African, hold on, sweetheart, I'm on an interview live, so just so you know. My wife is Cape Verdean. So I don't know if you know Cape Verde is on the west coast of Africa. Off the west coast of Africa, 10 islands. And, they us. With some spice, extra, that extra, So my wife actually has a great movement for fathers. We're gonna talk about that as we build, with certain counsel she gives with people that wants to get a divorce and people that want to keep things together, and just we'll talk about that later. So we building a whole kingdom over here, family. That's what it's about. So my family growing up, it's kind of complex. So if you look at Impact Network is the only, I personally like to use, I'm just gonna say melanated for the sake of people of color, sake of definitions for what I stand for. But for people of color, the only network that we're in about, I think 90 million homes, a faith-based network that has family content. They're moving away from more the religious content and more so into the family content. So I grew up with a father who was a high-level spiritual leader. If you really Google him, he actually, you will know, if you Google who my father is, you go down the list, a lot of controversy around my family because of, I say, misconceptions of things, but the pure heartedness of trying to help the community sometimes can be drowned out in miscommunication with our people. And, I grew up in social, political, religious background, and now to add to it from my perspective, Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I grew up in every major sector of life, you know, where um of high, authorities, I should say, where you look at the government, the religious, and Hollywood. I grew up in all those huge kind of like that was kind of surrounding my childhood. So then I was able to take from that and build who I am now. That all came and allowed me to build who I am now. So yeah, I grew up very spiritual. As my dad got older, he started moving things over to the Hebraic faith. Um, if you look in some of the videos, you'll see my dad wearing some of the Hebraic tallits, and we've moved things more to a Hebrew uh, um, side of the scriptures than more so the Roman side of the scriptures that was taken from us, back in the day. So, not to get too deep into that, uh, we're just that's why you're looking at an entertainer that has a social, political, and religious and Hollywood background. So it's like I'm layered.
Yeah.
I'm not just one. So the comedian y'all see, that's a projected image. But
Even
y'all not.
no,
Mhm.
that's dope that you're saying, and I want to kind of like dive into that a little bit more. It's like with your relationship with your pops and the backgrounds that you had. Like, how do you feel that those have played a role into the man that you have become today? Like,
Well, when you see Winnie Mandela coming into your house and their dog sniffing your house to make sure there's no bombs in your house as a child, you know, um, I grew up in a social, I can't say social, political. When Jesse Jackson them at the house and they're trying to make deals to figure out how to help the community, like I grew up like that. I grew
Yeah.
up, you know, my dad been trying to help the community for 40 years, you know, um, and I want to help continue that work. You know what I'm saying? And it's been tough because we didn't have the internet back then. So I grew up in Detroit. So Detroit got 6 major churches. And those 6 major churches, the brothers never worked together and stuff. So I always watched it. I was like, that's corny. Like the baby
yeah,
boomers, to me, all respect to my father and some other brothers. They didn't do a good job at working together. They did a lot of stuff. And I think as men and the millennials, we got to do better. We can't be like our fathers in that perspective of not working together, but they did do their best to take care of their home. A lot of the guys who grew up in the 90s, their father was trying to go get it so they won't have to live in the hood. We grew up, I grew up half my life. Well, the most of my life I can remember was well off, but it's like it was a balance. It wasn't like just, even no matter what, you could take us out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of us. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's why I still got that feel when people see me. It's like, I'm come off a little bougie sometimes, but sometimes I come off very relatable because
yeah,
I got both. I got that Detroit, but I
right,
got that West Bloomfield in me too. So I'm kind
yeah,
of a mixture of and I grew up in a 99% Jewish neighborhood. So going to Hebrew school and also going to learning the scriptures as a child and learning Hebrew as a child and learning the faith. Going into Hollywood, it was easy for me to adjust because Hollywood is most of the community is from the Hebraic faith. So speaking of Rit and understanding of Rit, which is that's Hebrew, and talking, going back and forth to Israel, that was a lot of they weren't used to seeing a melanated man, they have family in Israel also. So it's just like a lot of, I was always, you know, um different. And I was mean to the people. I was funny.
mhm,
I have a natural comedy, so I'm kind of a rarity to life.
yeah,
I'm a melanated man with a hood and Hebraic background, with what I'm saying, with a
Yeah.
father who's a spiritual leader. Um, that is when if you really look him up and see who he is. I mean, I really don't want to uh talk about it fully because I don't want that to divide from what my movement is. But um, if you look my father up, Wayne T. Jackson, you'll see, and I'm proud of my father. It's not to say it's just people misconstrue things. Like Tyrese posted something the other day against my father, and I wanted to talk about that the other day, and I wanted to talk to him about that, but he didn't realize that that was a fake article. Like someone put a fake article on him because he
Yeah.
tried to help somebody out, and because he didn't help them out the way he wanted to, that they then did a smear campaign on him. So I watched my dad get crapped on by the community, and he was the realest one in the community. And that was the saddest thing, that, me having a mic, I watched my dad help so many people, and all the other pastors didn't help nobody, and they was going to their church. So, it's just, but my dad always overcame. And that was a dope thing I love about my father. He always rose up. Now, all the major spiritual leaders are on his network now. So, you know, God always had our back. God always had my family's back. And but the community, Detroit really didn't show my pops love like that, man. And he that's all he do is try to help everybody. And they just, you know, they got a false narrative, So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the legacy that most people that are doing what they supposed to do have while they're on earth. But as a testimony to who I am now, is because of him, because of my father in the heavens and my father on earth. And he really showed me how to move through this matrix. So, nobody can ever, whatever your perception on faith is, you can have that. But I know from a father to a son, my dad prepared me for this world. So
No, that's dope, bro. And I think, it's really powerful seeing and hearing that coming from you, especially somebody who's found, great success as a man and as a father, to know that, your father was somebody who has been there from you since you were in the mud, and basically like showed you, how to be a man, what was important, and how to lead in a community. And you've taken that in a sense, and you're now building on your own based on the foundation that he laid for you early on. So I think that's really dope. And I wanted to kind of get into, because you kind of hit on it a little bit in terms of like getting into Hollywood, right? Um, Considering your dad, he's been a pastor for all of these years, and he's led in the communities. How did he feel about you getting into Hollywood? Because I know sometimes that creates friction between really religious families and their children when they kind of go and do, what they call the secular activities. What did that look like for you?
my father's heart really, from a perspective, because he always looked at most of these preachers' sons and preachers' daughters that go to Hollywood, they end up, you know, on a path of I can't blame him either. On a path that's opposite to our folk. Um, I would say that my father's true heart was for me to stay at home and be the youth leader. And for me, that was because we have new data as we walk. I would have been teaching something else, and it wouldn't have went well anyways. Number one. Number two is I think he really wished I would have stayed. I'm not gonna lie, he tells me all the time. And you know, Hollywood was, and still is to this day, is entertainment. It's entertainment, and it sways the minds of people. So it's about what you put out, for your what images are you putting out for your community? Because it's like you could give someone a knife. They can butter toast with it, or they can cut somebody with it, or whatever. But don't mean, I tell people that when you look at Hollywood, it's only good as the producers that's producing the content. And Hollywood is a tech company now. It's just Amazon and Netflix. It's really independent producers that are producing content.
Yep.
So he wish I would have stayed. I'm not gonna lie. He tells me that every day. Not every day, but once a week at least. Yeah.
No, I totally get that. And you can see, I can understand his perspective in wanting you to do that. But you were your own, you were your own man. You had to forge a path that you thought was right for you, and then you ultimately came back home anyways. You didn't stray too far. So I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
really
what
the
I'm saying.
dope
I
part
had to
about
see it. I had to see the world. I got to see, it's like you just can't stay, it's like they call it preaching to the choir. It's the same people at the church, the same people here. It's like, I got to travel. I got to see the world. The world is big. So for me, I was like, I just can't stay here. I need to. So movies allow me to travel the world and see everywhere where I want to go. filming and working and learning how to do my own films. You know, Trap City coming soon. We just signed Jeezy and Omar Gooden in film.
Oh,
So
Oh, that's dope.
you know, that's independently produced by me and my team, B4 Entertainment and KOE Studios and Kaiba Films. We all came together and produced an independent feature, which will be seen on one of the streaming platforms, preferably.
That's dope, man. And even to that point, I try to look at the the positivity in that, right? Like you went to Hollywood, you had to see it for yourself, but that also allowed you to build this bigger audience, right? To where now when you come back home to do the work that been called to do, now you're reaching, all these more people, with it, just based on that audience you were able to build in
Exactly.
Hollywood. And even, I'd be remiss to not even just bring up the things that you did while you were acting,
I'm
role
still
bounce.
listen. I'm still acting.
Mm,
I produce my own content now, and that's
yeah.
what people don't understand. Is like, and I'm not saying this against any other race, but I'm gonna say this from a perspective of a melanated man. If the white man doesn't do it, it feels like it can't be done, and we got to get out of
Mhm.
that mindset as brothers and as fathers and
Yeah.
as leaders that we can do it together, and everyone can eat off of it. But it
Nah.
doesn't take the white man to stamp us to say we're able to work, and that's the thing that I came to terms with, that the white man don't have to be like, okay, you can work now. Like, no,
Right.
the talent was me. The talent was me who's
Hey,
acting on that screen.
nah, for
So
real.
I still am acting. I just act for my own production company, which we just produced the film. That
Yeah.
I
Nah,
believe
that's
can,
agreed. That's
yeah.
agreed, man. I feel you on that because I mean, even to that point with our platform, Dear Fathers, kind of one of the reasons we started it, right? We wanted to be able to tell our own narratives and kind of create our own content and just kind of, have us as black men, black fathers be able to produce things that are related to, our own people. So we definitely salute you for being able to produce your own movies and act in them and have people on board to where they are going to be on streaming platforms. But just, taking it back to the past as far as like what you've done? Like, do you have any favorite moments? Like, how'd you
I
even
love Lottery Ticket, bro. Lottery Ticket to me was the most purest movie I done as far as like, I feel like I had to sell out my beliefs in every other film.
Mm,
Um, and look, hey, look, you got to give a little. You got to, at the time, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. I would look around like, yeah, this is definitely satanic, but hey, I'm getting a check.
yeah.
Um, and at the time, you know, Lottery Ticket to me was one of the dopest movies I've ever done, and it was even at the time I didn't want to do the movie because Chris Brown was supposed to be in it, and I wanted Chris Brown to be in it because I had the script first. It's supposed to be me and Chris Brown,
Mm,
and I already did it at the time. I was like, man, I already did a movie with Bow Wow. I want to do another movie with Bow Wow again. So, and I'm not hating on Bow Wow. I'm just telling you that at the time I was trying to put my career in a trajectory of, where we all can win.
yeah.
We could have the same week that him and Rihanna got into it, so they had to recast Bow Wow, which
Mhm.
I was cool with, but I was like, from a perspective, like, okay, now they're gonna go see another movie, me and Bow Wow. All right, whatever. I guess it's gonna be another movie, me and Bow Wow. So let's make that in my mind, because it's like, as I look at things from an audience perspective, it can go either way. People are like, man, we've seen this movie already, or they can say we liked it. I mean, I believe Lottery Ticket became a classic to the hood later on, and I'm happy Bow Wow did the movie because Bow Wow's a good actor. You can say whatever you want about his music career or whatever you want to say about his personal life. Bow Wow's a good actor, and you know he's respectable as a person who's been doing this for a long time, and much love to him as working with him as an actor. He did his thing, and I think the movie turned out well. It wasn't the biggest hit, but it did well. It made money for studios, and it became a hood classic. I think everybody in the hood remembers that movie. People know it. It's on BET every week, every holiday season. They play they play Lottery Ticket. It's kind of that neighborhood movie. So
Yeah, it's definitely a hood classic. I still watch it to this day. That scene where you and Bow on the roof, where I'm
yeah,
broke. That is to this day I still watch that. So it's definitely a hood classic. I think even if you had or you wanted to see, you know, Chris Brown in it, I think you and Bow Wow had great chemistry from Roll
We
Bow
did.
to that movie. So I think it
Mhm.
worked out well.
No, at the time I wanted Chris Brown in it.
Yeah.
Now, no, now I'm happy with. I'm hindsight 2020. I want to make
Yeah.
sure people understand that I didn't want Chris Brown in the film after seeing it. I'm saying when I was coming up, I was like, dang, you know, I want to do it because me and Chris were on tour together. I was
Yeah.
on tour with Chris Brown. So I wanted to work with him on a film. So it was just, you know, at the time, but now hindsight 2020, I'm happy about why I did the movie because we would have never got I couldn't do that scene with Chris because Chris is too tall to, it's hard to explain. To go head to head like that, it wouldn't have worked right. So me and Val, I'm a little bit taller than him, but we around the same height where we able to go back and forth in the scene. So that roof scene wouldn't have been there like it was if Chris Brown was there.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
that makes perfect sense. So but then when you think about your acting career, right? Like how did you get your start? Like did you always know you were going to be an actor, or did that just kind of come to you?
Man, everything I've done was honestly in my mind, I should say, because I say this to a lot of people, you know, and they don't get this, and I try to tell this to people, but I don't want to sound religious because I really and there's no offense to anybody that believe in religion. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person that understands the eternal creator from that perspective of family and love. So that's how I rock with it. But I can tell you my prayer. Everyone talks about manifesting today. Um, I manifested something that I would say that's written in the book of life is is when I was a kid. You know, you ever heard people say they made a deal with the devil?
Yep.
Okay, I made a agreement with God when I was a kid. You know, they say wish upon a star or whatever they say. And I was like, God, look, and I was a kid, so I don't know what I was saying. You know, I was just like praying, like, if you make me famous, I'll build your kingdom. And people don't ever account that I would pray that every night. Like, if you make me famous, I promise you I'll build your kingdom. I'll say that every night.
Wow.
And I want to be an actor. I love doing comedy. I love doing acting. I said, Father, use me as an actor, as a comedian for your glory. I would say that every day. And I got famous like this. I did one show at the Laugh Factory, and CAA signed me at the time. Was the biggest agency at the time, talent agency. And then from there, I just was in Roll Bounce like a month after.
Wow.
Roll Bounce was my second audition.
That's amazing. But I think that shows you the power of really, you know, speaking what you really want out into the universe and then it being heard and God coming in and answering those things for people. So I think that's amazing that that even happened in
Yeah,
that way and for people to
that's
not
how I
believe
blew up.
that that's what you did.
I'm not gonna lie, I blew up, but literally by making an agreement with God.
Yeah.
Period. Like that's it. Like I don't think people they can't get this in their head. Like I be trying to tell people like, yo, don't ask. You want to ask me how I did it? I don't want to give them the fake story. Yo, work hard. You know, I'm like, yeah, you got to work hard, but that's not how I got famous.
Yeah.
It was like a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
It was
No.
glitched out, bro. I'm gonna lie, because even being at the comedy club that night, I wasn't supposed to be at that comedy club that night. And the guy who's a great comedian happened to not have a great set that night for me to look better. It was all orchestrated, bro. It was all orchestrated by the Almighty. And I will never let that up. I will um I would never like not say that the Almighty is had the hand in my life, in my career. And people that call me religious was just I'm a kingdom builder. I'm not a religious person. I know that sounds religious, but trust me, you will not find me at any of your churches, and you will not find me at any of your temples.
Yeah.
Period.
Nah, man, that story is just impactful. You can't get what you don't ask for, and just to see that you manifested that, you know, you know, your asking of it is dope to see, and kind of to see where you are now. Even thinking about that too, you know, that transition, you know, obviously to where you are now, you know, with the kingdom building. Tell us more about what you got going on with that platform and with all that you're building currently?
Well, from the promise that I made as a child, I just keep it, same thing you're building. We're building family. Our people
Mhm.
got to gather together. It says gather together, oh nation, not desire. It never said gather together and start a organization. It's like just let's gather, let's hang out. You know, love is my religion. If you're gonna say anything else, if you're gonna call me religious, just love. I'm loving my brother as I love myself, and I know I love myself. And if I gave half of that to my brother, I know my brother's gonna be good. So for me, I want nothing to do with the kingdom. Has nothing to do with religion. We're a nation. We're building a nation of people, and that nation of people is people who has love in their hearts for each other.
Mhm.
And the kingdom is has fruits like dear father. You guys are a part of the kingdom, whether you know it or not. You are
Mhm.
a part of the kingdom that the Most High told to show me. Whether you know that the acts that you're doing now is kingdom. So I could easily say you guys are a part of the kingdom because you're doing the acts of love that we're supposed to be doing anyway. So that's the brand. What you're doing, dear fathers, is kingdom. Um, Go Give is kingdom. Some of other our entities that we rock with just as love. Trap City is kingdom. We're building people. We're building CEOs. We're supporting one another. We're just literally supporting people from the ground floor, from where they're at, and
Yeah.
just showing love. There's
Mm.
nothing else to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, everyone wants to go into this thing
Right.
that's already inside of us. I'm out of it. So the kingdom is just the same thing, man. It's Pride Rock. It's
Yeah.
Wakanda. It's Zion. Is what everything's been prophesied. We gotta bring it on the earth, man. Why can't we take a bunch of gold from Dubai and pave the streets?
Yeah.
Who's stopping us? Who's stopping us?
Nah, for real, man. And you said something earlier that I want to dive into, which also resonated with something that I seen you say on social media, is that you said something along the lines of building family business is the heart of the community, right?
Yes.
And I wanna, kind of ask you because you said something earlier. I can't remember exactly, but it resonated with my thoughts when I read that on your social. Is that how do us as Black people, Black men, Black people in general, how do we get out of that crabs in the barrel mentality to where we can build together and create communities like we're doing here at Dear Fathers, like what you're doing with the kingdom? Because a lot of times I feel like it's subconscious in our foundation. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel like we can grow past that to where more people can build platforms and do things like we're doing?
Honestly, we have to stop just calling ourselves Black. That's part one. And we gotta start going into the eternal code of who we really are, according to, even if you don't even believe you are. Everyone's using a certain code of banking, of monetization of life.
Mhm.
So I think once we as people that are melanated starts to get into the code of life, then we will start to be able to work together. I think we're so stuck in the code of being, like you said, Black, that we're missing the code of life.
Mm.
We just so happen to be melanated. And code of life is what we need to start tapping truly into, and our infrastructure. And I know it's boring, but it's not boring once it's built, because you got to realize no matter what, me and you are on an infrastructure that's built from the code of life. Zoom. Me and you go to the bank, which is built from the code of life. The river bank. You can put your money, your currency, in a bank.
Yeah.
See, when you start reforming your mind into the code of life and the law of life, then you will understand, we will understand how to operate as a nation of people. And that's the
Mhm.
kingdom. We got to stop accepting, first of all, titles that we were never we never subscribed, we were never given. We were given those titles by other people instead of defining ourselves. So when we define ourselves, it's easier to, that's why, if I never correct you guys, because I know you guys know me as Brandon T. Jackson, but my name of power is Dawid Ben Yehuda ben Yisrael. See, that El is of Elohim. That's of a God. That's of the Most High. So when you're connected with Him personally, you're able to move the realms that way. And that's why I don't call myself black. I call myself Yisrael, because Yisrael is the code that controls this realm. And no one wants to talk about it. They think it's a religion. It's more of a code. It's a constitution. It's an understanding of how the realm works. Everyone's talking about manifesting. But when you manifest from the perspective of a small God, which we are, you will know what the small God will manifest life into the realm. So our people have to start getting out of being the curse and start being the blessing. And once we get out of the cursed mindset, then the crabs in the barrels will start to when you start to attach to the Elohim inside of you, then you will become more of a mental. Your mentality will start to change, because the vibration you calling of your name is power. You know, Yisrael means prince of power. Black means curse. In the dictionary, curse, forgotten ones, nothingness, abyss, not a man. All these things are what we call ourselves, and I call myself Prince of Power. That means I'm a prince of the powers of this earth. That's what Yisrael means. It means everyone's talking about manifesting. You're manifesting what we are by everything you say. So it is deep, but you can't get mad when, the sons of Japheth or the Ashkenazi bloodline follows the code and we want to go off on them. No, for what? They're following the code of life. That's why I don't go off on any other bloodlines that follow the code of life. When Shem is ready to follow the code of life, then they will wake up and understand it. But just because the sons of Japheth, and notice how I'm talking, we're talking about fathers and sons. I'm talking in bloodlines. I don't talk in color. Because color and bloodlines are two different things. What tree are you from, brother? Who's your father? That's what I'm saying. So the sons of Japheth, and people that know the code be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. People that don't know the code, but oh, that nigga crazy. He's talking that deep woke stuff. I don't know what he's talking about. But then they go to the bank.
Yeah.
All religions come to our bank. Everybody, all rappers, every movement will come into our numeric structure and our code. And that's the problem I have. But no one wants to go by the code, but everybody wants to use the code.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's on everybody else. I mean, I'll be chilling. I should be using this mug, to be honest, on there. But
hey, we ain't mad at them plugs. Plug your stuff in there like that.
Nah,
yeah,
no doubt, man. We definitely
that's your stuff, though, brother. That's your stuff, too. The kingdom is you. I'm sending y'all some clothes, too. Wear them on the show. That's you. It's not me. The kingdom, this ain't Brandon T. Jackson's kingdom. It's the Most High's kingdom. It's ours. It's belong to us, family.
Nah,
You know?
that's
It's
agreed,
our
man.
inheritance.
That's agreed, man. Because what we building over here is bigger than ourselves too. It's not about us individually, man. It's about the end result of what we building, man. And even to kind of transition into who you are as a father, man. Like, tell us a little bit more about that. Like, who are you as a dad?
I'm the best, worst father ever.
Well, we got to elaborate on that. What you mean by that?
What I mean by I'm being funny because, okay, I'll give you an example. My kids want ice cream, right? What time is it? It's like over here it's like 11. Ice cream should be maybe for 4 o'clock. I give them a little ice cream. Then my wife be around, like, look, have some ice cream. Cause daddy, I want ice cream. So what I mean by best words, I try to do my best. But sometimes they pull on my heart, and I just, I give them stuff sometimes, chips that they don't need. And, but then I make sure they got all the health things that they, like my son, the way we raised him to only, we had this thing, they had brain foods where my wife found it was dope that each food was to develop his brain, and all natural foods, and you could see the difference. And my sons and my daughters I got 2 boys, 2 girls. They're just amazing. I mean, they keep me going. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I would literally be in a state of, I would say, depression. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you don't have nothing to live for, and you just sitting back and just being rich and famous, and that stuff is boring, man. I'm bored. I'm bored with that stuff. It's like, okay, I'm famous. Okay, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What else after money? What else do you need? It's
Mhm.
like you gotta have that stuff that gets your life, and to be able to create life and watch it grow, beautiful. So when I mean I'm the best worst father, I mean it from the perspective of that they have my heart, and sometimes that heart, they can get what they want out of me. And I'm like, okay, you ain't supposed to have ice cream, you ain't supposed to have pizza for breakfast. But I
But
get yelled at by my wife.
I
So
know how that is, man. With your kids, they have this way of just like pulling at your heart, you give in a lot of times. So I definitely can understand that, man. And then for me, when became a father, I think I was 24, 23, 24 when I had my first. Like I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I kind of had to figure it out. And like the goal was like, all right, don't let this kid die. Like, what are we gonna do to make sure this kid doesn't die? And then you
for
get
real.
more advanced with it. But for you, and Jesse would probably like this too. Like, was there anything, because Jesse's not a father yet, was there anything that you wish you would have known or learned before you became a dad that would have helped you in that journey into fatherhood?
I want to say something so funny, but it's so rude, but so cruel. Uh, Make sure when you become a father first, that you have a woman that you love. I married my wife, but my first child was with somebody that let's just say that dear fathers is needs to have, and I was gonna say a nonprofit section to help fathers, that either single fathers or fathers that want to be in the life of their kids. My family works towards this goal, and I was going to talk to you about this because I spent years and years um, making sure I have a years and years, and a lot of treasury notes um, to keep that relationship with my daughter. Yeah, so my wife you know and myself have fought with courts, with everybody, even when you want to become a father and you have a father, even that I was out there doing my thing at the time, and I was no saint. I still wanted to be in my daughter's life. Like, look, no, I'm gonna take responsibility for my actions. What the baby need?
Mhm.
What do my daughter need? No, no, no. I see what you need, but what does she need first?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that our I want to make sure that first that I had a relationship with her, and then my wife taught me how to be I would say a good father, because her being a mother to my daughter before I even had a daughter and a son with her.
Mhm.
So my wife's support was so dope that she was able to um nurture me as a man to become a great father. And I didn't know what to do, bro. And if you ever have a woman out of wedlock or whatever, and y'all don't get along, or if y'all do, however, try to make it work. We want to make it work first. But if you have one that you with, and bro, I got it both experiences. Um, like he said, you gonna make sure that child, you know, it's almost like it clicks in. The fatherhood clicks in,
Mhm.
more protective. And
Yep.
it's why I'm very keen on the roles of a man and a woman, and not to offend anybody, but it's nature. It's how the program works. When I
Mhm.
became a father, for me, start working out more. I started
Mhm.
becoming more keen of more. I'm almost too protective. I'm like,
Mhm.
get in the car, get in the car, in the car. You get this kind of like thing where you just, it's like the mad, our dads, I don't know if our dads had that thing. Y'all sit down, that I'm like, where does this come from? I was the fun guy. Now I'm daddy. I'm like, what's going on?
Mhm.
So I try to be the fun dad. I try to be the cool dad, but you're a dad, bro. You become a
Mhm.
dad.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm watching. I know Michael B. Jordan right now. He's with Laura Harvey. If he becomes a father, his whole we go from hot boy to dad. Your whole swag changed, bro. Hot boy to dad. Your whole. So I'm trying to do both. I'm trying to have
Hey,
that. I like that Will Smith vibe. I like how
yeah.
Will does it. He's a cool father to me.
Yeah.
Nah, no doubt, man. Like James said, I don't have any kids yet. So my initial reason for wanting to start this platform was actually me growing up without my dad. But when I have kids, like I want to be that cool dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still
You
have
gotta
my
be the
swag.
cool
You know what
dad.
I'm saying? But even shameless plug here, man. So we do have a nonprofit called Fearless Fathers, and one of the resources that we want to provide through that platform is being able to help dads through their custody battles and being able to see their kids and things like that. So let's definitely build,
Well, you have
outside
that already.
yeah, we have the nonprofit, but we haven't been actively providing those resources
Let's
yet.
work with that because I
Yeah.
have all the King's men
Mhm.
who is all brothers about standing up and being that king in your household.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to that's just the business, but the nonprofit, I go through you
Yeah.
and Kingdom Over Everything. We can work together where, because I was gonna do a documentary. I got Matt Kemp, some other celebrities that's been through, some custody battles, some
Yeah.
things. And the course out here, bro, I mean, it's just like if you want to be in your child's life, everybody should have and every woman should know that it's about the child.
Mhm.
If a man made a mistake and y'all don't get along, don't put that on the child.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
And that's where we kind of come in at all the King's men, understanding how to stand up and be that father.
Yeah.
Father up.
Yeah.
Father up. Don't be scared. Try to make it work. And that's where my wife comes in. She comes in. So I would love to build. What's the name of your
Fearless
the
Fathers. That's the name
Fearless
of
Fathers? I would love to work with Fearless Fathers and
yeah.
and how we can bring that together because that's what we do with the kingdom.
Right.
Despite all the understanding of who we are on how we get out of crabs in a barrel, we do it like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
You connect with what I'm doing, I'm connecting what you're doing, and I show love what you're doing. Not just saying
Yeah.
shout out to actually putting in that work.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you look at the soaps that we doing, we put in work. We got women right now and brothers right now hand making soaps for our nation and our people. These we got people working together to make body butters and clothes and technology and nonprofits like yourself and
Yeah.
connecting in the Kingdom Network, bro. I would love to follow up with that. I got a great team, a marketing company called Kingdom Drip, and
Mhm.
you ain't getting away from the kingdom, bro. Like
we
everything we do,
we
if
already
it's if
there.
it's drinking coffee, we Kingdom Coffee. If you
Mhm.
if you got a jacket, it's the jacket. If everything, because the kingdom is you. Fearless Fathers is kingdom.
Yeah.
So we want to keep the mindset of the idea of working together.
Yeah, no doubt,
So,
man. Let's
you
let's
know,
let's let's definitely build upon that outside of this podcast. But I want to kind of unpack something real quick.
I'm ready. Come on.
As far as like fatherhood, right? So one kid co-parenting, right? Another more so you're the stepfather of that kid, and then two on your own. How do you balance, all those
Wait, no. I'm co-parenting one child and all
one?
three are mine.
Oh, okay. I thought you had said that your wife had one before. Okay, so
No.
co-parenting one,
Yeah, we
His,
co-parenting
have
one,
his
all three
wife
yours.
was taking care of his daughter with his other, so she was
Okay.
helping him out with his first child.
Okay, I got you. But even to say 4 children, man, while also building a kingdom, man, how do you balance that from a mental, standpoint? How do you keep everything flowing, like just in a balance of
working,
it?
just all of us working together. A tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what we did in corporate America? Same thing. Everyone works towards the common goal. Working towards making a hot movie. This is the movie. My life is the movie. So we
Yeah.
work towards the common goal of taking care of each other. Like I'll say, babe, all this stuff that goes to you and the fam, all this goes to me, like in the kingdom. So we have a certain I reinvest back in our people too. I reinvest back in my family. I'm making sure that like my son has his own clothing line called Zavi, which is
Mm.
Kingdom Kids. My daughter has Leia. which is for the Kingdom Kids clothing sweatsuits. Anu, who's Keanu. I'm showing you both of their names. It's funny. They got Hebrew names and they have tribal names. From my wife, she's from Cape Verde, so it's like it's like a lot going on. So we try to include them in everything we're doing because we are the kingdom. We're family, you know. So, what I like to do is include them in my everything that we're doing. So, just inclusion. I think that Will Smith did a great job including his family in his brand, and I thought that was pretty cool. And it's kind of similar to the same thing with the Kingdom brand. I just include my family as much as I can. My wife just did a commercial for me for our soaps, Bathsheba Rose. And I'm not just trying to plug stuff. I'm telling you how we keep it in the family.
Right.
A lot of us, look at other people and say, why can't we do that? Why can't we do this and that? It's like family business don't work. No, family business do work. Together, we work it together, and we keep it together. And that's what keeps our family together. It's working our fields together.
Yeah. I think family business does work, but it takes work, right? A lot of times families like get together and they think it's just supposed to flow so seamlessly because we fam, but it's like you still got to work at it,
Yep.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You got to work it like, and everyone got to know their position. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. I like not being good at things. You know why? Because you're good at it. And now I got to lean on you. And I'm good at this. Now you got to lean on me.
Yeah.
And that's where we become interlocked as a people.
Mm.
So I like that. People are like, you can't do this. I'm like, so you can. So let's help. Let's go. It tests someone's heart and their spirit.
Yeah, that's
if
what
they
it's all
really have
about.
that true love to connect and build.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Everybody connects, everybody builds, figure out what people's strengths, weaknesses are, and then when you come together, you create magic. I think that's really dope. So kind of segue into, you being a father, four children, beautiful family, and then, thinking about the path you took in terms of going into entertainment, like, and then going back home to build. How do you feel about your kids following in your footsteps into entertainment, into Hollywood? Like, would you let them do that? And if so, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them, I love who I love. I love Master P, man. Shout out to Master P,
Yeah,
man.
P is dope. He's a legend.
He's a great example of how to do it when it comes down to family business. And, my kids can work for the kingdom and they can sell to Hollywood. Yeah. Yeah. Hollywood can buy from us. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's their movie. I'm gonna teach my kids how to produce their own stuff. See, we gotta get back into production. We're not just gonna be sitting back here waiting for somebody to pick you. No, you're gonna pick yourself and you're gonna write, you're gonna produce, and you're gonna do the things you want. You're gonna produce an album because the producers are the ones who run what they call Hollywood. So being a kingdom producer, I'm gonna teach my kids how to produce wealth within themselves. And then, that's what my dad always taught me. Do it yourself. Son, if they don't pick you, you do it. Even when I was out, in doing working directly for Hollywood without producing my own, I always produced my own tours, teams of comedy. I always was a producer. So I like to produce goods and sell goods. And I want my kids to be in a mindset. So they're not working for Hollywood, they're selling to Hollywood. You see?
Yeah.
They're selling to Netflix, which is really, or Amazon or other entities that are buyers. They're just selling to buyers.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know what I mean? And that's teaching our kids a different way, because now they're claiming ownership over
Yes.
these things now. They're not waiting anymore. And it's kind of like what they teach at HBCUs. It's like, find a way or make one. Right? Don't sit around and wait for people to come and give it to you. You know what you want to do, so go out there and go and do it. And at the end of the day, you now own it. So that ownership mentality is totally different from how we were brought up, how our parents were brought up. You know what I mean? So I love that you preaching that to your kids.
Definitely. Y'all got to get me on one of those black and white photos in slow motion. Y'all, y'all IG is lit, bro. If y'all need any marketing, bro, let me know too, because y'all got the hottest. Like, I'm like, man, these pictures. I need a slow mo picture. Y'all pictures are stills, but they look like they're in slow mo.
Nah, man.
I'm like, bro.
Appreciate that, man. We definitely take time to invest in kind of the marketing branding side of things to make everything cohesive. And even to what we just talking about, and something you said earlier, it's like we are the sauce, we are the asset. So creating and teaching your kids to create their own, man, that's the way to go, because we are the culture basically. So I definitely salute you on that.
So yeah, I love the way you guys are doing it. If I can, should I send y'all some pictures of how we gonna do that, man? I need to be on that.
Yeah,
I need to be
nah,
on that. Your joint be going in, bro.
nah, we gonna get some exclusive pics, you and your kids, all that. We gonna drop when the episode drop, man. So we definitely take care of you on that. And yeah, we definitely got you on that. And even kind of to touch on a little bit more on fatherhood, man. Just the climate of the world today, with everything going on, pandemic, the racism, oppression, all of that, man. Like, how do you feel about raising your children in this climate? Like, are there any adjustments that you've been making over the past, some odd years with different things that we got going on? Do you teach them about, how to deal with these type of things? Like, what's your perspective as a father when it comes to that?
I teach them all of it, but I teach them from a perspective of freedom, not perspective of problem.
Mm-hmm.
There is a solution, and that's why I don't harp on problems. And when you give people a solution, they be like, nah, that ain't the solution. Like, it is. Us coming together is the solution. And us having infrastructure together is the solution. No matter what they do and what other people do, if you know that's what other race people gonna do, you already prepare for that in your solution. The real solution is that you come together or die. And it sounds crazy, but it's like, I don't care about your differences, right? I don't care. We can argue your differences on free land, on free territory. We can argue our differences when we're free. Right now, as we know that everything we're doing with my children, I'm gonna teach them their culture from their mom's side, and I'm gonna teach them the culture from our side, from a perspective, from two perspectives, from the perspective of the American side, and a perspective of understanding the Hebraic side, because that is the only code that everyone uses to be uplifted in life. And I'm going to make sure that they understand that they're not a people that are just cursed. There are people that are blessed. If you do these things, you become blessed. If you understand a certain mindset, you get blessed. If you know how to speak things that's in your spirit and push them out here, if it's in the will of the code of life, then you're gonna be able to do it. I'm teaching it's my dad taught me. My dad owns a network, man. You can say whatever you want about my pops. He's the only person to ever, all those TBNs and those other networks, he's the only one ever in history that to own a network, and no one talks about him. To own a faith-based network. No one knows. Everyone knows all the other big leaders, but no one knows the ones whose network he's on, that they're on. He owns the network, and there's in 90 million homes. So it's like we have to support our fathers. We got to support our elders, and we got to support our kids. And that's what I'm gonna teach my children is, hey, look, we know there's racism, ain't going nowhere. What do we do now? I don't teach them the problem no more. It's like, okay, if we that's all I hear every day. The problem, the problem, the problem. Then I only teach solutions. It's like, this is why we're here. We're indigenous to this. We move here. Okay, from that, now how we move.
Yeah.
So, is that's pretty much it. I'm gonna teach my children, how to deal with racism is to deal with it with truth. So
That's a great perspective. I think, we've all talked about the problem ad nauseum at this point. We all know what the problem is, you know what I mean? So there's no point in continuing to rehash that, but solutions and thinking about like, how do we solve it? I think is really a great perspective on it. So, salute to you for pushing your kids forward in the conversation versus kind of being stuck in quicksand and like, oh, well, woe is us. We've been oppressed for all of these years. Yeah, we know we've been oppressed. What we gonna do about it? How we gonna fix it? What's next for us as a people, as a community? Like, what can we do? And all the stuff you've been talking about in terms of building, that's how we solve these problems. But we got to do it together, though.
all my circle around me, they getting bread. Everybody in the kingdom getting bread. We working together. So it's like,
Yeah.
it can be done. We have thousands of businesses that we work together with, So it's like, I'm like, everybody like, yeah, we don't work. I'm like, the kingdom working together. I mean, who ain't working together? Like, if you see what I'm saying, we don't. It's like it's just we working together, man. Like, and that's what I said. We're not pushing no religion on people. We pushing basic principles of love. We not. If you want to be taught and whatever, go to sister such and such. And I point to direction. Here, we moving in action. I'm not here to sit down and just be like, you know, just sit down here and just listen to somebody tell me some stuff. We action.
Yeah.
So if cats want to learn how to truly love each other, we're doing it in the kingdom, and we're gonna do it with action. If it ain't no action behind that word, then it's just a bunch of BS. So the solution is that, and that's why I'm always looking like I'm networking even on the show, because I'm showing the kingdom action. How
Yeah.
can I serve you as a
Now,
young brother? How can I serve you? How can I help you? Not even
yeah.
what can I get from you? How can I serve you? How can I lay down my time and my team's time to make sure you're built up?
Yeah.
Nah,
Period.
we definitely
You
appreciate
know what
that
I'm
this
saying?
way. We appreciate that this way, man. Just being able to connect with you, brother. And these gems that you dropped today is just amazing to me. Very therapeutic to have these conversations with someone like yourself who can give these different perspectives on not only fatherhood, but just that kingdom life, that kingdom living. And we're all trying to
Yeah.
accomplish that. So we definitely salute you on that. And you kind of done this already with your pops, man. It's, basically giving him his roses while he's still here as far as the things that he's doing. But
Yep.
before we get out of here, man, if you could write just a short letter to your dad, starting with Dear Father, what would you say to him?
Dear Father, thank you for teaching me how to be a man and standing on the principles that works for only those who understands how to activate them. And thank you for activating those principles inside of me to know that I can stand on my own 2 feet away from any system. I can stand on my own 2 feet away from any hate. I can stand on my own 2 feet as a man. Thank you for teaching me how to be a man and a man that understands the Almighty. Because without you teaching me the principles of the Almighty, I would be a wreck. Without you teaching me and showing me an example that you fought against everybody around you and you still rose up. Thank you for teaching me how to stand when everybody hates you. Thank you for teaching me how to stand when you're reproached to people. Thank you for teaching me how to be that man who's resilient and don't stop and won't stop till the goal is done. And you know, thank you for being a man who always gathered us together to remember one another as family. And thank you for being you. My father. I should do a song called Dear Father instead of Dear Mama.
No, that's dope, man, and really deep. You know what I mean? And just, thanks for sharing that and coming on the platform and being a part of this with us, man. We really appreciate you coming in, stepping up, tapping in with us. The conversation today was dope. Like Jesse said, it's therapeutic in a lot of ways. I learned a lot more about you as a man too. And admiring your career is one thing, but getting to know the individual and like what you're about as a man, as a father, as a husband, that's even better for me. So again, thank you so much for jumping on. And really,
Thank you.
we wanted to finish up, man, by saying, what's next for Brandon T. Jackson? And then, let the people know how they can follow you on social.
I got my so y'all might see me more geared towards my name of spirit, my tribal name, my ethnic name, I should say, of Dawid. So as you see my album SOD coming out, um, self-titled album, SOD, which is my rap name. We got Trap City coming out, which we independently produced. Just signed Jeezy. I could maybe show you the poster. Here's a poster too to it. Let me see. Got to add Jeezy to it, but this is Trap City poster,
That's dope.
Okay.
independently produced by yours truly and the great team by Ricky Burchell, directed by Ricky Burchell. Um, we got what don't we have coming out? We got oh my God, we building the kingdom. We got so many things coming. We got the kingdom clothing coming. Hopefully, you guys, we got the Kingdom Heirs. I'll send you guys hopefully, I can get you guys. I mean, prayerfully, I can get you guys some free samples depending on what the layout look like with the modes. But the new Kingdom Heirs, HEIRS. So Nike don't come from me. This is a shoe that's owned by us. It's for everybody, but it's owned by us together. A lot of our people investing in it together, and they're called the Heirs. And actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to send you a picture of how they look, and you tell me what you think. We got the clothing and the what else? We got the movies, the clothing line, the economy, the soaps, the Kingdom Pay coming soon, which is our Cash App. Which is it's like our black-owned Cash App called Kingdom Pay. That's coming next year, or hopefully this year, if trying to see what's going on with this crypto. The world is changing with cashless to crypto. So then we got a bunch of stuff coming out. Just stay tuned to the Kingdom. We got prayerfully a collaboration with Dear Fathers. And then just we're gonna keep moving from there, bro. We here. Our streaming platform, Kingdom Play, gonna be coming soon too. So we got a whole kingdom that we building for our people, and that's coming together as one, and really, hopefully, people will start seeing it and they understand what we're doing. I know I'm not the biggest guy in the world. I'm not. I'm not the biggest celebrity in the world. But if I was, God wouldn't get the glory. So, I'm happy I'm not the biggest celebrity in the world because God wouldn't get the glory. It'd be like, look what Brandon T. Jackson's doing. Now look what Dawid is doing. Look what he's doing. No, look what God is doing. He's bringing us together as a people. So stay tuned. The kingdom was always over everything, and let's work together, and we're gonna keep building. And just like, look, the movies, the music, the stuff, that's me. But how can I serve you guys? Let me know with anything that if anyone's watching this and they feel inspired and want to work with the kingdom, I really say my first thing is I say, how can I serve you? So
That's amazing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We definitely appreciate you. We definitely need to link up after this and kind of put something together, brainstorm some different things. There's a lot of synergy between what we got going on, man. So we definitely gonna build. Just while you got all these branches in the kingdom, we got all the same things that Dear Fathers that we trying to tap into just to build up the better black man in the community. So
yeah,
we definitely gonna tap in, man.
well, that's
And
kingdom. All the
Mhm.
sectors you have, that's in the kingdom,
Yes,
and that's
sir.
what we say. Like everything you're saying is not like it's not me, it's
Mhm.
you. So what you just said is you can use it. It's yours. I'll send you some clothes. It's not mine. That's what people. I want y'all to understand. You said the same thing you have going on. The same thing we got going on. You see, we got things going on now, and that's how we look at it from a perspective of the kingdom. Is like if my brother got it, I got it.
Yeah.
I want to come stay at your house. Can I come stay at your house?
Pull up,
That's how we
bro.
think of it. Like if I got a house, you got a house.
Yeah, no doubt,
And
man.
that's that family we bringing back. So
Yeah.
tap in. After this, after the interview, I'm about to text y'all. I'm about to DM y'all these clothes, and y'all tell me which ones y'all want, so I can send y'all a royalty box for the
Okay.
brothers.
No doubt,
That's
man. And
dope,
even before we get out of here, man, do you got, let's say, two fathers you co-sign that's in your peer group that you can maybe also connect us with for the podcast? Now, whoever you co-sign, man, you gotta make that connection to get them on, man, because we want to have
Okay.
some continued dope conversation. So
Let me see who have you guys had on. Who have so far?
We had a lot of people on, man. Said the Entertainer, comedian Alex Thomas, comedian Damon Williams, Bradley Bill, NBA All-Star. We got Darius McCrary we recording with in a few weeks. Eddie Winslow.
Nice.
Who we record? We recorded with B Dot. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
we
know
got-
So I
B.
gotta
we
make
got-
sure I don't double back on my what you call it.
yeah.
I'll make sure I see who I can vouch for.
Yeah.
Father, because people in my age range is not too many. I know we got. Let me go on my. I know Marion's a father.
And that's
Yeah.
Bow Wow. We'll take Bow Wow too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bao, he's a father. So I'm gonna see if I can get. He be switching his number every like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna see if I can get him.
Nah, no doubt, man. We gonna be tapped in, you know.
Yeah.
with you know what I'm saying? So as we build, man, if you got anybody, just shoot them to us, man, and we can.
No, definitely.
conversation.
I got brothers, I got internet stars, I got a lot of people in my network. So I'll just go through it and see, let them know, hey, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and then
Appreciate that.
yeah, definitely shoot us a
course.
close. We're gonna follow you from our personals too, just so we can tap in and
Yeah, please.
keep building.
All right, for sure, y'all. Kingdom over everything. I love you guys, man. I really appreciate everything, for real. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Brandon T. Jackson / Dawid Ben Yehuda Yisrael. And yes, I'm tapping in with Dear Fathers, and that's how we do it, the podcast. Love y'all.
Thank y'all for listening to another impactful conversation on the Dear Fathers podcast. It's your host, James Meeks.
And your co-host, Jesse Alex. But before we get out of here, make sure you subscribe anywhere you get your podcast, and we'll catch y'all next time. Salute.
My own CD cover. I'm so focused, ass Steven Glover. Still up and coming, but for sure coming. Went out on a limb like I broke something. Watch how he recover.